Here are 10 shocking facts about France that will leave you speechless. Did you know that France is the most visited country in the world? From the Eiffel Tower growing in the summer heat to the French government issuing awards to families for raising children, we are going to cover it all. Ready? Fact 1. Ever wondered why the Eiffel Tower seems to change height depending on the season? The Eiffel Tower, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, has a surprising ability to change its height. During the summer months, the tower can actually grow by up to 6 inches. This phenomenon occurs because the tower is made of wrought iron, which expands when temperatures rise. When the thermometer hits around 30 degrees C, the tower can be about 20 centimeters taller than it is in the winter. This expansion is a result of the iron's response to heat, as steel and iron expand when they get warm and contract when they cool down. So, the next time you visit Paris, keep an eye out for the tower's changing height. The Eiffel Tower can grow by up to 6 inches during the summer. Fact 2. Did you know that in France, it's against the law to carry live snails on high-speed trains without tickets for the snails? This unusual law is part of a broader regulation that requires any domesticated animal weighing less than 5 kilograms to be a paying passenger. The motivation behind this law is to ensure the safety and well-being of all passengers, including the animals. While it may seem strange, the French take their snails seriously. After all, they consume approximately 500 million snails per year, making them a common sight in the country. The law was highlighted in 2008 when a Frenchman was found transporting his snail harvest on the TGV, high-speed train, without tickets for the snails. So, if you ever find yourself traveling in France with a pet snail, make sure to get a ticket for your slimy companion. Fact 3. What might a wedding where one of the spouses is dead look like? In France, there is a unique practice known as posthumous marriage or necrogamy, which allows individuals to marry someone who has passed away. This practice is regulated by Article 171 of the French Civil Code, which permits the President of the Republic to authorize the solemnization of marriage if one of the spouses died after the completion of official formalities marking it. The origins of this law can be traced back to 1959, following the Malplace Dam disaster that claimed the lives of over 400 people, including a man who was engaged to be married. Posthumous marriages in France are backdated to the day before the death of the deceased partner, and there are strict rules in place to prevent people from seeking a posthumous marriage for financial gain or other improper motives. It is possible to marry a dead person in France. Fact 4. You know how a lot of French words are borrowed from English and vice versa? There's more to it than meets the eye. The French government has a long-standing commitment to preserving the French language and protecting it from outside influences, including English. In 1994, France passed a law known as the Toubon Law, which mandates the exclusive use of French in most public contexts, such as official documents, broadcasts, advertisements, and workplace communications. This law was enacted to combat the increasing Anglicization of the French language and to ensure that French remains the primary language used in France. The efforts to protect the French language extend beyond the Toubon Law, as the Académie Française, established in 1635, continues to serve as the official authority on the usages, vocabulary, and grammar of the French language. Yes, the French government once banned English words to preserve the French language. Fact 5. What's the most you'd be willing to spend on a bottle of wine? The Burgundy region of France is renowned for its exceptional wines, with some of them fetching exorbitant prices. According to the annual ranking released by Wine Searcher, a rare wine from France's Burgundy vineyards, the 1985 Richebourg Grand Cru, has been named the world's most expensive wine, costing an average of just over $15,000 per bottle. This wine, created by Henry Jayer, a visionary winemaker, is highly sought after by wine enthusiasts and collectors alike. The Romanée-Conti Grand Cru, another prestigious wine from the same region, is also among the world's most expensive, costing about $13,000 per bottle. Burgundy's dominance in the wine world is evident, with 40 of the top 50 wines in the ranking coming from this region. France produced the most expensive bottle of wine in the world. Fact 6. Did you know that turning a baguette upside down is seen as unlucky in France? This superstition is deeply rooted in French culture and dates back to the Middle Ages. During that time, executioners were both hated and feared, and they often did not have time to pick up their bread early in the day. As a result, bakers would reserve the worst loaves for them and turn them upside down to distinguish them from the rest of the batch. This practice was a way for bakers to express their hostility towards executioners, as they were required by law to sell bread to them. Today, the superstition persists, and it is still considered bad luck to place a baguette upside down on the table in France. Fact 7. How far would a country go to curb food wastage? In February 2016, France adopted a law on fighting food waste that made it illegal for supermarkets to destroy unsold food products. Instead, they are required to donate these products to charities and food banks. This law marked a significant step in the fight against food waste by preventing the destruction of usable food and promoting donation to those in need. The law applies to supermarkets with a footprint of 400 square meters or more, which must now sign donation contracts with food banks and charities. Supermarkets are also prohibited from deliberately spoiling food to prevent it from being consumed by people foraging in stores. The law was passed unanimously by the French Senate and was the result of a grassroots campaign by shoppers, anti-poverty campaigners, and those opposed to food waste. France was the first country in the world to ban supermarkets from throwing away food. Fact 8. What if we told you it is forbidden to take pictures of the Eiffel Tower at night? The Eiffel Tower, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, is considered a copyrighted work of art under French and European copyright law. While the structure itself is no longer protected by copyright, the lights installed by Pierre Bidot in 1985 are still considered an artistic creation and are protected for 70 years after the artist's death. This means that nighttime images and videos featuring the light show are still protected under the law. While taking photographs of the Eiffel Tower at night for personal use is generally allowed, publishing or distributing such images without proper authorization can lead to copyright infringement and potential fines. Fact 9. Imagine being paid to raise children. The Médaille de la Famille Française, created in 1920, recognizes parents or guardians who have brought up 4 or more children morally and responsibly. Initially established to acknowledge mothers of large families, it has evolved to include fathers and others who have raised French children properly. The medal comes in 3 classes: bronze for raising 4 or 5 children, silver for 6 or 7 children, and gold for 8 or more children. Recipients must demonstrate that their children are raised well, with the eldest child being at least 16 years old. The application process involves submitting a request at the local town hall, followed by an investigation into the family before the final decision is made by the prefect of the department. The French government issues awards to families that successfully raise children. Fact 10. It just makes sense that French fries originate from France, right? The term French fries is believed to have originated from American soldiers during World War I who encountered the dish in Belgium and nicknamed it French because the Belgian army spoke French. The true origin of French fries can be traced back to Belgium in the late 1600s. According to local Belgian law, poor villagers living in Meuse Valley often ate small fried fish they caught in the river. During the winter months when the river froze, fishing became impossible, and the villagers turned to potatoes, slicing and frying them much like they prepared the fish. The misconception likely arises from the fact that French cuisine has a reputation for culinary excellence, leading people to assume that French fries must have originated in France. French fries aren't French. And with that said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, surely you'll love this video about another interesting country.